a new video and a bit of a different backdrop this time. This has taken some setting up, I can tell you. First of all, I was going to stand, except that there's stuff underneath the camera tripod that you can't see that means that it would have just looked ridiculous. So we're kind of like perching stuff on a precarious Jenga tower of stuff at the moment. It's not that bad, honestly, and you don't need to know that, but here we are anyway, because it is another end of an era video. I feel like I've done a number of these, but this one is the end of an era. This is something that isn't going to continue in another form later on. It might do. So, as many of you know, if you've watched previous videos, when I say many of you, I mean the 10 of you who've watched my previous videos, I have been collecting the Hachette, I still assume it's pronounced Hachette, I've got no evidence that it isn't, DC Heroes and Villains collection. And I started collecting those in during one of the first lockdowns that we had. And I did it basically because it allowed me to get out of the house, because the thing was at the time, if you were following the rules, which depending on your position in the pecking order, some of us did, I would, you know, you could go out for a walk, woo, woo. And I would every fortnight. I ended up going into the city centre in order to pick up, after it was launched, because it was launched during the during lockdown, I would go and pick up DC Heroes and Villains collection, because it got me out of the house and it got me walking further than the 10 minutes I was walking around the block otherwise. And my initial thought was, you know, I'll buy this, I don't mind, you know, it's something nice to do. And then I didn't stop. We got to volume 100 and I still didn't stop. We got to volume 120 and I've had to stop because it's the end of the series. We got this nice, I say nice letter, we got this printout with the last delivery. I'm doing this now because volume 120 is in the shop at the moment. The shop, as if it's my shop. It's in shops at the moment. And it just says, thank you for your subscription to DC Heroes and Villains collection. We hope you've enjoyed it. As you may be aware, the collection is now coming to an end and we'd like to thank you for your continued support. If you want to order back issues, we would like to thank you for your subscription and we hope you continue to enjoy collecting the series. I mean, it came with issues 119, 120, so really I'm not enjoying collecting the series as much as the series has come to an end. So this is volume 119. Batman, The Laughing Fish and Other Stories, which is a run from 77 to 78, written by Steve Englehart and art by Marshall Rogers. Revolutionised Batman in the pages of Detective Comics, presenting a compelling new portrait of the Dark Knight, revamping vintage villains Hugo Strange and Deadshot, and creating one of the greatest Joker stories ever told. Special edition collects that run along with Englehart's 73 Detective Comics classic Night of the Stalker and other Englehart and Rogers Batman tales. Looking forward to reading that one. Volume 120 is a newer thing. Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo. Harley Quinn and Commissioner Gordon are kidnapped. Batman is forced to do the unthinkable and forge an alliance with his mortal enemy. It's by Mark Silvestri. It is by Mark Silvestri, isn't it? Yes, by Mark Silvestri. Not familiar with that story at all. Vaguely familiar with this one, but that's what I've loved about this collection, that over 120 volumes it's delivered some absolute bangers, along with some stories I wouldn't otherwise have read. There have been some ones I probably won't read, Shazam, but and the other disadvantage of it, of course, is that some of the stories I have in other formats, and I think I spoke about that in the last video, that I have them as, you know, like trade paperbacks or hardback editions. Some of them I've got as part of the Eagle Moss DC graphic novels collection, and there were various points when I was buying this series where I thought to myself, you know what, I don't particularly want that story, should I skip it? But I thought, no, The whole point of a collection is the collecting, and it would be a bit rubbish to look at the run, because you know it's got the artwork on the sides. These aren't next to each other, even though the volume's 119, 120. They're actually volumes 108, 111 in the run of stories, in the run of books. But they've got the spine art, and the spine art does look, I mean, you can see some of it back here. The spine art does look pretty funky. The disadvantage is the shelf that you can see behind here isn't. Let's just cover up that background again, just because it's a bit of a mess. Didn't realise the camera was as low down as it was. I am sitting down, this isn't me standing. Yeah, so the spine art, as you can see, is pretty damn good. The only disadvantage is this shelf isn't wide enough to fit 120 volumes. So about 6 or 7 volumes are on the shelf above, which is just in shot above me there. So yeah, it's the end of an era with that. This, to my knowledge, this is the first part work I've ever collected as it was released. I have the DC the DC graphic novels collection just off shot above me, and I have a lot of those, but that's because a friend was selling them off. I have some of the Marvel Eagle Moss, I think it is, collection as well, but not many of those. The Batman ones, again, not many of those. This is the first time I've ever bought something on the regular that forms part of a part work, in effect. Even as a kid, I don't think I ever did. I may have bought, 1 or 2 issues, but then given up on it. I mean, you look at some of them and you think, my God, I'm going to be spending a lot of money on this. And I did on these. Some of these... So these are... started out at, I think, the recommended retail price. The first issue was side, which was like $2.99. The recommended retail price on them was started at $9.99 and then went up to $10.99, which wasn't a problem. And some of them, to me, aren't worth a tenner. Even in hardback, they're not worth a tenner. Others, I'd have thought, oh yeah, I'd have bought that for a tenner. And quite terribly, for the vast majority of them, unlike some trade paperbacks, not all of them, some, these partworks don't hold value. But then, that said, I'm also not collecting on the principle of, ooh, that's going to be worth something in the future. I've paid over the odds for stuff that's gone out of print, but I'm not looking at, flipping it back and selling it for more, because if I've bought it, I want it, which is the truth of everything that I buy. If I've bought it, I bought it because I've looked at it and thought, oh, I want that, and paid for it. Which brings me on to something else I've been doing recently. So there's going to be a moment here where we might have a fade, a transition. A thing might happen. Or I might forget and you'll get me bobbing down in a moment. We're back. That ring light is... Yeah, I have to get used to that. Look at the ring light reflecting off my eyes there. I'm sure that's not professional. Something else I've been buying recently is prestige editions. So these were... As you know, a comic book is paper cover, paper pages, and that's it. I mean, I say like that's all that it is, but it is. Prestige had cardboard covers, high quality paper. They nearly all slid off my knee there. But Prestige editions had cardboard covers, high quality, usually glossy paper. They weren't stapled in the middle. I forget what the binding's called, probably perfect bound or something fancy like that. But yeah, I've been buying these recently. I mean, and some of them I've bought because they're there. Some of them I've bought because that interests me. Like this one, I picked it up at a Comic-Con recently. It's £6. I don't know what it's worth, but it's Alan Grant and Arthur Ransom's Batman and the Phantom Stranger. Now, I like Phantom Stranger. Didn't know he crossed over with Batman. I also like Alan Grant as a writer. I think he's just an incredible writer. Some of them I've had for a while, like, I think this is... I mean, it is a card book. Yeah, that's a Prestige. Yeah, things like this. It's not bagged up yet. Titan's Young Justice Graduation Day, which I think I bought as a job lot. Batman, The Ultimate Evil, adapted from the novel by Andrew backs. Haven't read that yet, but look, but I've had that for a while. Don't know why I haven't read it. And recently I've got back into buying, I say got back into, I used to have some of these, not all of them, the Elseworld stuff. Now, I know that Elseworld, look at me, I'm like one of those characters from the Supermassive games. If you've played those, the characters will pick up something like this, and they'll flip it around like this to read the back of it. It's like, nobody does that. I know. Anyway, yeah, so I've had some of these, and quite terribly, I know that I can get them as a trade paperback now. There's things like Elseworlds Superman, Elseworlds Justice League, Elseworlds Wonder Woman, Elseworlds Batman. But I saw these as a job lot, and I thought I'll bid on them, and I paid an okay amount for them. Some of them I do remember. Batman and Dracula Red Rain. There I am again, love. Batman and Dracula Red Rain. That's actually thicker than I thought it was. What else did we have? We had we've not got them all there. But yeah, so some of them I have read before. But yeah, nice little set to have. No real point to it. Saw them, bid on them, won them. Probably paid a bit too much for them, but salary. What else have I been doing recently? Still sorting out this room, which is why the bottom of here looks a bit of a mess. You've got a CD player and a tape player there, because I do have tapes. All Our Tomorrows. Which sounds like it's going to be some type of soap opera, but it says, this is the nightmare of all of tomorrows. All Our Tomorrows. Can't get the name right. A demoralised Britain is forced to accept the Russian offer to help restore law and order and peace and prosperity to its people. As the Soviets take over, men like Harry Andrews and Jamie Boyle go underground. For them, freedom is worth fighting for. Thank God that's never going to happen. Oh, these fantasy stories. I only have that because I saw it for 50p, and I thought I like that. Actually quite like the sound of that. Down here, you can probably just see a couple of old PlayStation games there. Tomorrow Never Dies, and The World Is Not Enough. Again, pick those up as a job lot. Couldn't tell you anything about them. Some other ones further down, there's Silent Hill, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2 on Platinum, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I've had since the original PlayStation, since their original release, and I absolutely love them. Games I'm never going to get rid of, despite the fact I think I have a couple of them as remasters. Have this as well, right? Alex Ross is a fantastic artist. Here he is. This is the Justice League. I picked that up for a couple of quid an age ago. It's come off the wall because I reshelved one of the walls, and I do need to put it back up at some point. What else have we got? Oh yes, so I did a post on these on Instagram. Had to think there. That was a post. I didn't just... It wasn't buffering, don't worry. I picked up a bag of comics for a couple of quid, and the reason I picked them up, even though they were in a right state, and normally I try to buy stuff that looks okay, would look okay on a shelf. There's been a couple of occasions where I've bought stuff that looks absolutely battered, and the only reason I've bought it is because either it was very, very cheap, or buying it in a decent condition would have been prohibitively expensive. By that, I just didn't want to pay that much for it. I'll show you an example shortly. So I bought this bundle here with split spines and all the rest of it for a couple of quid. And it has issues 1 and 2 of Dragon Claws. Now I remember these, and weirdly enough I have the full story because it only ran to 12 issues as part of the Marvel part where I paid a tenner for that on eBay because I really wanted it. I have fond memories of it. Now this is from a time when Marvel UK used to create its own characters, so Dragon's Claws, Death's Head, that type of thing. And their Transformers run. It was iconic. They did Doctor Who at one point. In fact, Death said, if you look him up, was a Doctor Who, appeared in Doctor Who and Transformers. There you go. That's a crossover that Russell T Davies should get back behind. Yes, I just picked these up for that. There is some other stuff in here. There's you know, a bunch of issues of Deathstroke the Terminator, which is Marv Wolfman's stuff, so that's pretty damn good. What else is in here? Deathstroke the Hunted, which was the 0 Hour tie-in. A couple of issues of, not a full run, but a couple of issues of Predator, Cold War. And what I quite like, actually weirdly enough, I've only just spotted the back of this because I've not really looked at them. This one has a lovely bit of artwork of Batman on there. That might be worth framing actually, or scanning and putting up on the wall. Yeah, so they were another recent pickup that I'll now put behind here on a pile of things. They need bagging up at some point. I will do that. There we go. But yeah, that's it. It's the end of an era on the old DC Hachette, DC Heroes and Villains front. Would I buy another partwork if one came out? Possibly. I mean, that one ran for nearly 5 years. Whew. Whew. But would I? Yeah, probably. I possibly would. I mean, something I do need to do is get hold of my... is continue picking up the, not that it's a part work, but it's an ongoing series, the Judge Dredd Complete Case Files, because I'm up to volume 28. I've got that one to read, and then I just need to buy the next few. I'm never going to be up to date with that. They knock them out like every 5 minutes, that company. Oh yeah, thing I wanted to show you. So talking about buying things specifically as long as they're going to look good on a shelf. Not good as in people are going to come in and think, oh look, he reads Dostoevsky. But you know, like, looks like it's in decent nick. I have a lot of Doctor Who books. This was one I picked up recently for a couple of quid in a charity shop. Probably for £1 actually, come to think of it. And but years ago I got this. This is Wolfsbane by Jacqueline Rayner, which was rare. I don't know how much it goes for now on eBay. I could have a look. I might have a look at some point. But it's a library. It's a library withdrawal edition. So it's got, you know, like the back in, but it is in an absolute state. I remember seeing it and thinking, I don't particularly want that. You know, it's got the spine's absolutely stuffed. It's got that backing on that you can never, well, I wouldn't want to remove anyway, but it's got that backing on. Should I buy it? And I thought, well, yes, because I'm not going to see another issue of it, you know. And if I do, if I saw a decent enough issue of it, I'd pick it up. I haven't, so I'm happy I've got it. It's a 4th and 8th Doctor story by Jacqueline Rayner. Yes, I'm happy with that. You know, it's just one of those things that I have. But yeah. So like I say, I like to pick up things that look decent, that are in decent nick. Unless there's an absolute reason for otherwise. But yeah, that's the end of the video anyway. Probably do some talk about some of the stuff next time. Probably go back to the other corner of the room because it looks like a mess. Incidentally, the CD player sitting on top of the 3D printer that I don't often use, but when I do, it comes in clutch. That's what we say, comes in clutch. But yeah, that's it then. DVDs and Blu-rays, comic book related ones. And a bookend you can probably just see out of shot there. Yeah, so that's me done. I'll catch you all again next time when I might talk about something else. Well, I will talk about something else. I'm going to just do this video again, am I? Although it feels like I have talked about this collection far too many times. But thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, share, other things that I meant to ask you to do. I don't know. Oh, follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Threads. I'm a cult variable. And that's it. Bye for now.